Are there people in your life whose personality is a little hard for you to enjoy, like you just can't read them? By the end of this video, you're going to have a fast way of understanding what drives people and what doesn't, and how to work with that and your personality. Each week I publish a new video, so for the best coaching tips, tricks, real life stuff, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Thursday. I'm Emily Bigelow. I'm a holistic success coach. That is life and business. And I've been a business leader in a direct sales team that I started in 2010. It's a volunteer army. You don't fire people. You learn to work with different people and different personality types. I don't know about you, but I'm a visual person. And probably the way that I explain this, you're really going to want the visual. In fact, you may want to go back, have the visual, and re-listen because it really, really helps. But we're talking about 4 different personality types. Now, I know there's a lot of ways to categorize people. There's personality tests, there's introvert, extrovert, there's colors, there's all of these things. I learned this years and years ago in my business, and I thought, kind of hocus pocus at first, but I've got to tell you, as I have used this, and just in general, it's just a really easy way for me to figure out how I can support somebody, how I can work with somebody, how our personalities are going to work best. Because let's face it, personalities are different. So as a kind of a quadrant, right, there's going to be 4 personality shapes. The top to the quadrant, and there's a bottom. There's a left side and a right side. So just generally, when I am analyzing somebody, I don't always analyze people. Okay. So like if we're friends, if you know me, if we're like, I promise I'm not analyzing everyone. It's just really helpful to understand different personalities and just some of the different things that people do and what makes people tick. So just generally, if I'm wanting to kind of get a read on somebody and get a feel for their personality, I'm figuring out, are they more at the top of the quadrant or the bottom? And then I figure out if they're the left side or the right side. So here's how I do that. If they're on the top quadrant, their dress is going to be more of a comfort. It's going to be the comfier clothes. And now this is just general, but you can kind of just think, hey, PJs or whatever, right? And then I'm going to go, okay, so what about their timing, right? So if they're along the bottom, they're going to be maybe a little more fancier dressed, a little more dressed up, but really love slippers, right? So top, bottom. The top, timing wise, they're going to run a little bit behind. Like time, being on time is different to everybody. You realize this, right? So to some people, they'll completely forget that something went on. And to others, they're 15 to 20 minutes late. Like that's just how they operate. Then for some people, 5 minutes is, 5 minutes to exactly is on time. And then for some people, 10 minutes early is on time. So you can see that this 30-minute gap can kind of be a big difference just even in timing. So if they're at the top of the quadrant, they're going to run either maybe a little more forgetful or late, 15 to 20 minutes late. If they're at the bottom, they're going to be 10 minutes early, 5 minutes early, exactly right on time. So I can tell by their dress, how fancy are they? How comfy are they? How whatever, like top or bottom. And then I can figure out, are they more on the left side or the right side? So for the left side are going to be more of the people who really like change, like to see new things changing. They're more futuristic thinking ahead. They're going to be more of the risk takers, and these people love attention. And then if they're on the right side, they're going to be thinking more about the way things were, kind of one-on-one, soft, feel good. They don't really like attention as much. They're going to be more of the one-on-one, a little bit more like indirect when it comes to communication and just different styles. Now, let me share with you these personalities in the form of shapes. And keep in mind that you're going to have primarily a dominant, and then you're going to have a subdominant. So you're actually going to be a combination of mainly 2, one probably more strongly than another. You may be equally balanced, but primarily you're going to have a dominant and a subdominant. And I'm going to put this into some like real life scenarios for you to just really kind of help you kind of dial in and be able to watch this play out. So the 4 shapes are a squiggle and a circle. Those are your top. The bottom of the quadrant are a triangle and a square. So let's put this into some real life scenarios. And you can actually kind of put these different shapes categorized into kind of a one word, typically. Now remember, dominant and subdominant, but your squiggles are going to be your idea people. They're the idea people. The circle are the needs people. They meet people's needs. They need to be needed. They love to meet and fill people's needs. Your triangle is going to be more of a driver. And your square is going to be more of an analytical or kind of a critical thinker, just those real black or white in the box type thinking. So putting this into just a real life scenario, let's imagine a crowded elevator, okay? So your squiggles are the ones who maybe either forget their floor, they missed their floor. Your circles are the ones that are talking to everybody and figuring out what everybody's doing, what they're up to, what their life is about. Your triangles, they're friendly, but they're also probably just more in the observing mode. And then your squares are the ones who are adding up the weight of every person on the elevator, looking at what max capacity is, and they're usually the ones that step off because it's just too crowded. So the next scenario is a family barbecue. You'll see this play out in your family and kind of be able to pay a little more attention to something. It could be just a friend party or whatever, right? But the circles are the one who are like going around, they're talking to everybody, they're getting the scoop, what's the latest in people's lives, like they know everybody's everything. The squiggles are probably like forgot, or they're the ones that you kind of have to remind that this barbecue is even happening. And here's the thing about a triangle, they're either in it or they're completely out. And so they're usually running the grill or they're just totally on the couch. So you know these people, they either kind of take charge or they just totally back out. And the square is the one that brought the meat thermometer to make sure that the triangle cooks their meat the right way. So is this making sense to you? If there's some people in your life that you're thinking about, give me a yes in the comments below. If you think without knowing, without testing with what your shape is, maybe no judgment, but drop that down in the comments below. I'd love to know what shape you are. So how do you tell, in a real fast look, what other people, what shape they are? Kind of how do you figure this out? You tell by their timing. Did they show up late? Did they completely forget? Did they show up 10 minutes early? Are they on time almost all the time? So their timing. Their clothes are another really easy way to tell, although that's not quite as simple because we all kind of do comfort at a different level. The stories that they tell are a really easy give too, because the top, the squiggle and the circle, they're going to be talking more about stories, about feelings and the way things feel. And your triangle and your square along the bottom, those more analytical, they're going to be talking a little bit more about facts versus feelings. So how do you know what you are, or how do you find out what somebody else is? Seems super silly, but it's totally effective. And in most cases, it's pretty right on. In 4 seconds with 4 shapes, you choose one. And there's a psychological reason behind this. So even though this little 4-second gauge is really effective, down in the notes below, I've got a really great resource for you that has an actual quiz where you can go through scenario by scenario and numerically kind of add up and figure out what shape you are. This 4 seconds is actually pretty accurate. So 4 seconds and 4 shapes. Squiggle, circle, square, triangle. And then a lot of times I'll actually just ask people, I'm going to give you 4 shapes, 4 seconds, choose one. I have a really great visual to share with you in the different personality types, and it's really going to help you to lock on to figuring out what people are in a short amount of time. So download the quiz and the visual guide at the link in the description. I also have a Facebook group that you can connect with me called Everybody Better. I would love to hear your shape down below or in the Facebook group. If you have any questions about the personalities, or if you care to share any of your ahas, hit me up here in the comments below. I'll be doing more on this series when it comes to work, dating, and a deeper dive into the character and the characteristics of the personality. So be sure that you subscribe. Hit the like button if you liked it. And if you saw value, share it with your friends. Bye for now.